Hey guys, how's it going? It's Vinny here again. Today I'm going to be doing a video on a 2001 Lexus ES300. It has a check engine light. I scanned the codes and it has a code P1349. Alright, so before we get into just fixing the car, I just want to briefly explain this to you guys. So I scanned the car, I got a P1349. It also had random cylinder misfire. It had cylinder 1, 3, and 5 also misfiring. Okay, so on this car, there's two VVT solenoids. And there's one for the front, these front cylinders, and then there's also one in the back. Now this is a V6, it's a 6-cylinder, right? So it has two, right? Cylinders 1, 3, and 5 are in the rear. Those are the ones that are misfiring. So that already automatically lets me know that the rear VVT solenoid, it's somewhere down there, is bad or something's wrong with it, right? I want to let you guys know the first thing to check before you just go and buy a VVT solenoid. There's filters for each one of those solenoids, right? So you have a front VVT solenoid, you have a little filter under it that you can take out and make sure it's clean, right? They can clog up. When they clog up, you can get that same code. That doesn't always mean the VVT solenoid is bad. It just might be the filter sludging up a little bit. Front of the car, right? We're gonna lean over it, right by this air intake, right? Right by your throttle body. You're gonna look right where this flashlight is, right? I'm gonna aim the flashlight right down here, right there, that connector that I just focused on. That's the connector to the VVT solenoid. This cylinder that's like that tan right there that I'm putting the light on right there, that's your VVT solenoid, okay? There's a 10mm bolt to take that off. Now, this is the hard part. You're not gonna really be able to see this well, but right under that connector down there, that's the filter bolt. That's a 14mm bolt. It has a little metal washer you can see. You'll unscrew that 14mm, you'll pull it straight out. There should be a filter that connects into the inside of the bolt that you'll pull out. When you take that bolt out, the filter usually falls off, so just get pliers, like needle nose, very tiny ones, and you can kind of pull it out. You can even use a long pair of tweezers or other grabbing tools. All right, so I just showed you the rear VVT solenoid, and now I'm going to go on to show you the front one. Right behind the oil cap, look down here, and you'll see the VVT solenoid right here. That's the connector for it. That's the 10mm bolt right here that you'll take off to get this out. Same thing goes for the rear. It's that same 10mm bolt. And then for the filter for the front, let's see if I can get a better angle. Bear with me again. It's that bottom bolt right down there. That's the 14mm OCV filter, or oil control valve filter, they call it. That's what I found it listed on eBay as. Sometimes you'll type in VVT filter, it doesn't come up. So search it by OCV, it's oil control valve filter. And take that out and check that. If it's all sludged up or whatever, you can wipe it off and dip it in some new oil, clean it off really good, and then put it back in. To take the connector off before you take the bolt out, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's just a lot easier because then this won't be sliding around on you. All right, so I'm going to begin with taking off this front VVT solenoid. I placed the 10mm on the socket and everything else on there. So just to speed this up a little bit. So I'm going to loosen that, take that out. All right, once you got the connector off and you took the 10mm bolt out, you're going to want to lay a little bit of rags down under it, because when you pull this out, there will be a little bit oil dripping out of it. So I'd say lay a couple rags down there and then have another one in your hand, so when you pull this out, you could just wrap it up and take it out of the car cleanly. Guys, a tip for the noobs. You probably won't be able to just, pull it out like that. I already loosened this, and I'm going to show you a real quick, easy way. You're going to get a pair of pliers, and you can bring them just like this, right around it. And once you have them behind either the connector of the VVT solenoid, or if you wanted to play it safe and not ruin the connector, you could just twist it out of the way a little bit. All you got to do is get your pliers behind it, like so, and then just literally pull them back, and the solenoid, you'll just pry it right out. So I took it out. This is the VVT solenoid, the front one. There is a rubber O-ring right here. Looks like it's pretty worn. It wasn't leaking or anything, but you can see these sometimes have oil around them. That would be that O-ring right there leaking. Here are the part numbers for both of the VVT solenoids. I just took out the front one. So the front one is right here. There's the part numbers. If you guys just want to pause the video, if you need to. So the front one is 917211, and the rear VVT solenoid is 917214. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take this front one and install it. Alright, so first thing you want to do is get a little bit of oil, put it on your finger, and just oil this thing up. Get the O-ring real nice, everything else, and then it's ready to go in. Alright, so what we did was I came around this side under here with the solenoid, and then basically slid it in here. What you'll do is there's this hose in the way. Don't jam it down. It's not going to go anywhere down. You can actually just lift it up, and it'll give you enough room to get the new solenoid in there, and then slide it into place like so. You'll hear it kind of pop in. That's the O-ring inside that you're hearing or feeling. Okay, then you're going to get the connector. You can connect that back on. And then there's the 10mm bolt, which I'm going to put in real quick. Alright, so I just finished tightening up the front VVT solenoid. Now we're going to go ahead and do the rear. The rear, I'm going to be using a pretty long extension. It's just a 1/4 inch with a 10mm on the end. Yeah, 1/4 inch ratchet. You don't need nothing crazy. So we're going to go right over the top. Again, here's your air intake, your throttle body. It's right down here. See if I can focus that. That bolt right there is what we're gonna get. So I'm gonna take that and break that one loose. All right, and that's what we're gonna take off. Also, don't forget the connector on the right side of it. That'll come off. All right, so I just wanna show you how I got this out. I reached my hand under the right side, kind of wrapped my index finger around where the connector is down here, and just kind of gripped it as hard as I could and pulled it back. I couldn't figure out a way to use any kind of needle nose pliers. I tried, but couldn't figure it out, so I just kind of had to manhandle it out. And yeah, if you have trouble getting this out, I could see maybe getting a little pry bar on the side of it and getting behind somewhere and pulling it out might work. Okay, so this is the rear VVT solenoid. Again, this is the new one. Just want to show you side by side. Identical, right? Yeah, sort of. And there's the part number, in case you guys need it. So we're going to go ahead and take this one and apply some new oil to it. You want to get the O-ring really good all the way around. And pretty much the whole thing, I guess you could just pretty much oil it up. It doesn't matter, but yeah, get that nice and oily. All right, so you get the new one in there, and we're gonna put the bolt in. Solenoid is in on the rear, bolts in, and now the connector. Don't forget those. Just gonna show you where it's at, right there. Okay, so now that both the solenoids are in, what you want to do is go ahead and clean off both areas with some brake clean if you can, or if you have anything like that, or wipe them down. You want to make sure that there's no oil around them, so that when you start the car up, we can go back behind these and check them and make sure that they're not leaking, because it is always possible to nick one of the O-rings when you're trying to put it in, and then you could have oil leaking out of there, which won't be good. So make sure you clean them down, wipe them down, make sure it's dry, and then we'll go ahead and start up the car and see what happens. All right, we're gonna start it up. I already cleared the codes previously in the beginning. If you haven't yet, you could just leave the battery disconnected for a few minutes. It'll clear the codes if you don't have a scanner, or if you have a scanner, then just clear them. So I started it up. It's idling at 1,000, which is good. A lot better than 2,000. And it is warming up now. So I'm gonna go around to the front and show you guys how much more calm this sounds. Not misfiring, there's no check engine lights. And what you want to do is just peek around and check your solenoids and make sure that they're not leaking any oil. Mine both look good. Yep. Alright, so that's pretty much it, guys. If you guys have any questions on this, leave a comment and I'll get back to you. It's a pretty simple, straightforward job, and it should only really take you about maybe half hour to an hour, depending on if you have all the tools or not. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I got some more videos coming. I did mention I'm going to do some computer videos when I get some time. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.